What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Stoop Life Podcast. My name is Bob. Glad to have you here. Today, we are going to be giving you guys part 4 of the fantasy football preview of the year. And this time, we're going to be talking about tight ends and defensive special team rankings. Now, if you guys have not watched the episodes before this, we already gave you a detailed breakdown of the quarterbacks, the running backs, and the wide receivers. So go check us out on your favorite podcasting app. Just search for The Stoop Life. We got all of them right on there. Or check us out on YouTube at Stoop Knockout. All of our videos are on there. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram at The Stoop Life. Now, as you know, guys, right into this. We're going to get right into it. We're going to be talking about tight ends today. And what we do in our fantasy football rankings, we rank them as tiers. The reason why we rank them as tiers, and what I mean by tiers is like tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, etc. We rank them in tiers. We put players in tiers based upon what we think those given players are going to perform for the given year. The reason we do that is because sometimes you might like a player, but you already got too many players of that guy's team on your roster already, so you want to avoid having 3, 4, 5 guys of the same team, but you want someone of a similar production output as that guy. So we put people in the tier so you can look at that guy you want. Like, let's say you want David Njoku. We got people in that tier that are going to perform like him. We also do it so you don't get messed up on your bye weeks. So you don't have all the same players on the same bye week. So if you have someone in a tier, like we just said, a David Njoku who has a bye week of week 7, let's say you want him, but you can't have another bye week 7. So you got someone in this tier that is going to be equal, better, or very similar to what he's going to produce. You can just get a player in that one. So today, guys, we got a 5-tier system for our tight ends. Let's just get right into it. We're going to start off with tier number 1. Now, if you guys don't know who tier number 1 is, well, I don't know why you're playing fantasy football. I don't know if you even watch football at all, because clearly it's number 1 is Travis Kelce. As you see on our board here, we got my rankings, we got the tiers, we got the bye week, we got the team, and we got the average draft position. The average draft position is what position they're currently going on Yahoo, ESPN, CBS in a PPR league. Currently, obviously, Travis Kelce is number 1. He's going as number 1. The thing I want to talk about with Travis Kelce is this. Last year, he scored 120-plus points more than number 2. He scored 150 points more than number 3. He's projected to do the same this year. His value is as high as ever because they really don't have a number 1 wide receiver in Kansas City. So if you got a top 5 pick just on the outside, 4, 5, 6, 7, you might be looking at getting Travis Kelce, because if you are one of those people in fantasy football like myself who waits till the end of the draft to get a tight end, you might want to get Travis Kelce early and be good the whole year. Because if you're actually looking at positional value from the number 1 guy to the people below him, compared to any position in football, running back, wide receiver, there is nobody that's even relatively close to what Travis Kelce's value is. He's actually the most valuable player in fantasy football. He really is, because of the differential from him to number 2. Obviously, he finished number 1 last year. He's probably going to finish number 1 again this year, unless some unforeseen injury happens to him, but he doesn't seem like that type of player. But Travis Kelce, number 1. Tier number 2, we actually got 2 players in it this year. We got number 2, who's coming off the draft boards at number 2, Mark Andrews from Baltimore. Last year, he had somewhat of a down year. He was injured a little bit, didn't get as many touchdowns. He finished as tight end number 4 still. I think this year, with the added weapons that they have on offense, he's going to get a lot more targets in that red zone. He's going to get a lot more freedom in that red zone because he got a lot more players to target. So I think he's going to go back to his form. He's going to get 10, 11 touchdowns like he did 2 years ago. And I think Mark Andrews is going to be a guy that is not going to be on par with Kelce, because nobody is. But tight end number 2, I love him. At number 3, we got the tight end who's getting drafted at number 3. We got TJ Hawkinson. I love this dude this year. simply because they got rid of Thielen. They got an offense in Minnesota that is going to have to find timeshares because they got rid of Thielen. They got rid of Cooks. And I think Hockenson has proven in the short time that he produced in Minnesota, being the number 2 tight end last year in all football, that he can produce. I think he's going to do similar numbers this year. He might be right there again with Andrews, above Andrews. Both got the same bye week, though, so good luck with that, but pick or choose. I think both of these guys, Andrews and Hockenson, are going to have a lot of touchdowns. They're going to have a lot of targets, a lot of touchdowns. I love them both. Tier number 3, we got 4 players. All 4 of these players are going to be undervalued in your draft, mainly because they got hurt last year or they haven't been healthy yet. Number 4, going at tight end number 4 in average draft position, we got George Kittle. As we all know, if George Kittle stays healthy, absolute bona fide stud. Last year, if you had George Kittle in the beginning of the year, you were pissed off at him. You hated him. He was hurt. He was out. Well, he finished number 3 last year, even though he missed like half the games. And the most important games that he was there for were your playoff games. And I played against him in like all my leagues in the playoffs, and George Kittle absolutely killed me. So even though George Kittle has a lot of injuries that he's had in the past, he's probably going to get hurt again this year. Don't be scared to take George Kittle because he's going to be there when the time matters. I can guarantee you that. So George Kittle, number 4. At number 5, we got Philadelphia Eagles tight end Dallas Goedert, currently going off the board at number 7. Undervalued. Let's be real. When this guy played last year, he was top 5 tight end every single week in the first 6 weeks. So if he could stay on the field, he's a target share guy that gets a lot of red zone looks from the Philadelphia Eagles. And I think if he stays healthy, he's a guy that you can get at, 6, 7, 8 tight end off the board. I love it. I absolutely love it. At number 6 and number 7, we got tight ends coming off at 6 and 7, respectively. We got caution flags on both of them because of injuries and underwhelming production. Number 6, we got right here, Kyle Pitts in Atlanta. Everybody projected him to be a top 3 tight end last year. However, he fumbled the ball a lot. He didn't really get a lot of targets, and I don't blame him for that, really. I think it was because of the type of offense Atlanta ran. Now, this year, they got Bijan back there. I think it's going to open up a lot for Kyle Pitts. So I think at number 6, obviously we know his ability, but is anything going to change in Atlanta? I'm a little weary of that actually happening. That's why I have him at number 6. Otherwise, his potential is right there at tier number 2. Behind him, we got New York Giants new tight end Darren Waller, currently going at tight end number 7. Injured last year. But if he stays healthy, he's proven to be a top 3, 4 tight end. His athletic ability is unbelievable. And if this guy can stay healthy, you're getting a lot of value with this guy at this position, given the fact that they don't have any wide receivers in New York. So he might be Daniel Jones's number 1 target. So, hey, at tight end number 7, you might get a steal. Going off into tight end tier number 4, we got 5 guys. And I think 5 guys that can all be sleeper tight ends. All of them. We got number 8, Evan Ingram, going off at tight end number 8, draft position right now. Last year, he finished number 5 in Jacksonville. We were waiting for that his whole career. This guy had potential, and he never lived up to it. At the end of last year, he was balling. They got Calvin Ridley there this year, though. So how's that going to work with Evan Ingram? But I see the connection with Trevor Lawrence and Evan Ingram. I like it. I think a guy that you might, if you don't want to get one of them tight ends, you don't want to risk the injury, you don't want to draft Kelsey early, a guy like Evan Ingram can really get you a solidified tight end later in the draft. Similar position, we got Pat Freiermuth. Finished number 8 last year. He's ranked number 9. He's currently getting drafted at number 9. A guy in Pittsburgh that underperformed in the beginning of the year, but once that offense got rolling, he proved to be a very, very friendly blanket for their quarterback there. So I think he's a similar guy like Evan Ingram who can produce numbers late in the draft. I love his value. At number 10, we got a guy who finished number 9 last year. He's currently going off the boards at tight end number 12. And throughout the preseason, He's been balling. We got Chicago's tight end, Cole Kmet. Now, Cole Kmet and Justin Fields seem to have a connection. They really do. Like in preseason when he played, he was the go-to guy, especially in the red zone. I don't know how that's going to stand because we don't really know what's going to happen with the Chicago offense, but a late in the draft pick, again, Cole Kmet, I like his value. I like what he did at the end of the year in that offense, and I'd like it to actually continue. I think he has a lot of upside as a top 5, 6 tight end this year, so be on the lookout if you have him late in your draft. Number 11, he finished number 11 last year. David Njoku, currently going at tight end number 10. Has a lot of potential to be a top 5 guy. He has that much ability, athleticism. He's a freak talent. But is he going to perform? How's that offense going to work with Watson? We don't know. We have to wait and see. But I think same thing as the other guys above. Value late in the draft, David Njoku. I love him. At number 12, we got a guy who finished number 10 last year, but he's switching teams. He's going off the board at tight end number 11. Coming in from Houston, Dalton Schultz. Now, if this guy was still for the Cowboys, he would be in my tier 3. He really would, because that's how important he was to Dallas. That's how productive he was in Dallas. Now, you got a young quarterback in Houston. What do they like to do, guys? They like to go to the tight end. So Dalton Schultz might be a really big sleeper pick here, especially if he stays healthy at number 12 with Justin Fields there. I think Dalton Schultz can produce. It's just a little weird because he plays for Houston. But I think he can finish right there at the bottom of tier number 3. So late in the draft, I like him. We got tier number 5 and 6. We're going to run through these a little bit because we got number 13, the New York Jets tight end, Tyler Conklin. I like this guy's value, especially if he's coming off the board at tight end number 30, simply because last year, guys, he finished number 16. And who the hell was throwing him the ball? That's how productive he was. Now, he got Aaron Rodgers there, who, if you watch Aaron Rodgers, he loves going to the tight ends. So if this guy can produce with jack shit in the backfield throwing to him, I think he's going to have a lot of upside with a guy like Aaron Rodgers. So if you're waiting for a tight end, you need 2 tight ends, this is the guy to target. He could be the sleeper tight end of the year, and I like it. At number 14, we got the rookie Dalton Kincaid coming from Buffalo, currently going off the board at number 13 simply because of his ability to run routes and catch the ball. And he got Josh Allen throwing to him. I think this guy's going to be a beast. I think one of those tight ends, at least in Buffalo, is going to be a beast, whether it's him or my 26th ranked Dawson Knox, who we thought last year was going to be a beast. Dawson Knox actually finished 14 last year. And I think Dalton Kincaid is going to slide right in there, and he could be a high-value upside pick, a guy who, listen, mini Gronk right here. Mini Gronk, think about that. So if you're looking for a sleeper later in your draft, mid-tier tight ends, Dalton Kincaid is your guy. Number 15, we got out of Denver, Greg Dulcich. We got number 16, a high upside guy coming out of Tennessee, Chigoziem Okonkwo. Now, this guy last year finished 23rd, but they didn't have a lot of guys throwing to him enough. I don't think he's going to be a yardage type of guy, but he's going to be a red zone target share guy. And in the Tennessee offense that's going to run heavy, you might get a lot of check down touchdowns to Chigoziem Okonkwo. So look out for him. Number 17, another guy that I like that's not getting high value is the New Orleans tight end at going off the board tight end 20, Juwan Johnson. Finished 15 last year, and he only played the second half of the year. They got Derek Carr throwing to him, and Derek Carr always makes the tight ends produce. This is a guy that I think you can sleep on, that you can get real late, maybe last pick in the draft, to be honest with you, and it can produce value based on the offense that they run and their quarterback. At number 18, we got LA Chargers, Gerald Everett. Gerald Everett finished number 13 last year. I just don't like him as much as the other guys because of last year I thought he was going to be great, even though he finished high. He doesn't get a lot of targets in the red zone. I don't like that. Maybe that'll change this year, but we'll see. At number 19, we got new Dallas tight end Jake Ferguson. We already talked about Dalton Schultz and what he did for Dallas last year. Can Jake Ferguson slide in there and be a very similar type of player. Possibly it's going to be a high-octane offense. Might be able to get it. Michael Maher coming in at number 20 for Las Vegas. He's going off the board at tight end number 22. Why not? Why not? Jimmy Garoppolo throws to the tight ends a lot. He could be a guy that could get you points. Number 21, we got Hayden Hurst out of Carolina. Number 22, Tyler Higbee out of the Rams. Tyler Higbee actually finished number 6 last year for the Rams, but his numbers when Stafford played with him weren't nearly as good as these other guys. Stafford's not the type of guy that does the checkdowns to the tight end a lot. That's why I have him a lot lower, but he's a guy that you could possibly sneak in there as your tight end who could possibly get a lot of touchdowns because they don't got a lot of weapons there in the Rams. So he could be a guy that you could steal. At number 23, a guy that I think has a lot of upside as well, coming out of Detroit, Sam Laporta. I've been talking a lot about Detroit during these breakdowns, and I think for rightful reasons. Detroit is going to be a high-octane team, and I think Sam Laporta is one of those guys that can blow up and have a great year. So like him. To finish it off, tier number 5, let's talk about number 24, Taysom Hill. Hey, if Taysom Hill is there in your draft, why not? Why not take him? Because last year he finished number 7. He only played quarterback a couple times, but he's a guy that, listen, people are going to forget about him. Unless you're actually listening to my podcast, you're probably not going to think about Taysom Hill during your draft. So Taysom Hill, sleeper pick. If you need a backup tight end, I say you go get him. 25, we got New England tight end Mike Gesicki. 26, we got Buffalo Dawson Knox. 27, Arizona, we got Zach Ertz. If Zach Ertz was healthy, not coming back from a broken leg, he'd be a lot higher on this list, but I fade his ass. Number 28, we got Noah Fant. Noah Fant last year finished number 17. I just don't like Noah Fant. I don't think he gets targeted enough. I don't think he actually runs his routes enough to actually get open. But, hey, he does play for Seattle. They got a lot of receivers. He might be a guy to look at. At number 29, with a lot of upside, we got Joey Burrows, tight end in Cincinnati. We got Irv Smith. Currently going off the board at tight end 21. The only reason I have him so low is because every single year we put in there a tight end from Cincinnati, and they never perform. But Irv Smith, we already know. This dude, if he stays on the field, beast. So I like his upside. At number 30, we got Green Bay tight end Luke Musgrave, a guy that I think we don't know. But, hey, young quarterback, new quarterback in Green Bay, Musgrave can be your guy. So let's break down our tight ends again in order before we go to defense. We got 1, Travis Kelce. Tier number 2, we got Mark Andrews and TJ Hawkinson. Tier number 3, we got Kittle, Goddard, Pitts, and Waller. All guys that can perform if they stay healthy. At number 4, we got our sleeper group. We got Evan Ingram, Pat Freiermuth, Cole Kmet, David Njoku, and Dalton Schultz. And tier number 5, we got Tyler Conklin, Dalton Kincaid, Greg Dulcich, Chikozio Okonkwo, Jawan Johnson, Gerald Everett, Jake Ferguson, Michael Maher, Hayden Hurst, Tyler Higbee, and Sam Laporta. To close it out, guys that could be potential good sleepers if they're healthy, if they play, Taysom Hill, Mike Gesicki, Dawson Knox, Zach Ertz, Noah Fant, and Irv Smith. Be on the lookout for your tight ends because, hey, you might need them. Next up, we got defenses. Now, most leagues, defense special teams aren't all that important. But, hey, sometimes you got a league that does have a lot of value towards your defensive special teams. Don't put too much value in drafting them real early. Simply because a lot of these teams that are ranked, for example, let's say the Washington Redskins, ranked number 21 in my thing. They finished number 7 last year. You're always going to have a team that can come from my tier 3 from 11 to 20 that's going to finish in your top 5 to 10. And a team that you like from 1 to 10 might not even finish there. So you're kind of the value. The point differential from 1 to 10 to 11 isn't all that high. You might want your team, but hey, it might not hurt you. But one thing I want to tell you, when it comes to fantasy football defenses, check the schedule at the end of the year. Because a lot of these teams you're looking at, you're drafting them, and then their last 3 games that they have, which will be your fantasy playoffs, you're getting annihilated. You're going to draft the Miami defense, but at the end of the year they play Buffalo, Jets, and Buffalo. Not a team that you ideally want to have. So that's why I say when you pay attention to your defenses, pay attention to the end of the year because you don't want that. But anyway, let's break it down. We got a couple tiers here. We're going to start with tier number 1, which we got our San Francisco 49ers, currently going off the board at number 1, rightfully so. They were number 2 last year. So, hey, they're going to be a top 3 team. We already know it. They got one of the best defenses in actual football. They turn the ball over a lot, and their conference isn't all that great. So if you're looking for a team that's a solidified number 3, I guarantee you San Francisco is that team. They are also a team that's going to have a pretty good end-of-the-year schedule. So, hey, they might be your team to look at. At number 2, we got the Dallas Cowboys currently going off at number 2. And another team, high-value turnover team. So if your league drafts off of defensive numbers for turnovers, Dallas is your team. They're probably going to lead the league again. They finished number 4 last year. They're going to be right there again this year. At number 3, finishing off tier 1, we got the Buffalo Bills currently coming off the board at defense number 3. Last year they finished number 5, and half their team was hurt. So to put it in perspective, if their team is healthy, even though they have a good conference, they got a great defense to get you turnovers. They might not get a lot of pick sixes or something like that, but they're going to get a lot of turnovers. They're going to hold the teams to less yards. I like the Buffalo Bills. At tier number 2, we got number 4, the Philadelphia Eagles, currently going off at number 4. They finished number 3 last year. High upside team with all of the talent that they have on that defensive line could possibly be defense number 1. So if you're an Eagles fan, don't say, oh, I'm being biased taking them number 1, because I really believe that the talent that they have, they could be number 1. So don't shy away from them. At number 5, going off at defense number 5, we have the New England Patriots. Finished number 1 last year. Their defense is unbelievable. They're going to run the ball a lot. They're going to keep the teams off the field. That's the only reason I don't have them ranked number 1. But they force a lot of turnovers, and they don't give up a lot of points. So they could be a team that could be number 1. At number 6, we got coming off the board at defense number 7, we got the New York Jets. They finished number 6 last year. We already know what they do on the defensive side of the ball. They stopped everything. They're going to do the same thing this year. And they got Aaron Rodgers, so they're going to have more confidence to do it on the defensive end anyway. At number 7, my high upside pick of the year, the New Orleans Saints. Currently going at defense number 10. Last year they did finish number 12, but they always have a good defense, and their conference sucks. So look at who they play at the end of the year and tell me that's not a team you want. I'm just saying, you could potentially get them later, like it says, 10th, and be very happy that you drafted them. So I like the New Orleans Saints here. At number 8, we got the Kansas City Chiefs. They have finished in the top 10 of fantasy football the last 5 years. But be wary, if Chris Jones is not on the field, fade them. But we'll see. As of right now, I like them at number 8. At number 9, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers, currently going off at defense number 6. Where I already know they got that steel curtain on defense. And following them at number 10, we got the Baltimore Ravens, currently going off the board at defense number 8. Both those teams, I like them. They play rough-nosed football, and they're going to stay the same this year. At number 11, tier number 3, we got the Miami Dolphins. Number 12, we got sleeper, potentially great defense at number 12 in the Green Bay Packers, who, listen, they were amazing at the end of last year. If Jair Alexander stays healthy on the field, we already know what they produce. They could be amazing. I like them. Tier number 13, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars, similar to what I said about the Saints. They finished in the top 10 last year, and they got a weak conference. If you're looking towards playoffs, the Jaguars could be a team that help you win. Look out for them. Number 14, we got the Seattle Seahawks. Number 15, Cincinnati Bengals. Number 16, Cleveland Browns. Number 17, Tennessee Titans. Number 18, Indianapolis Colts. Number 19, Minnesota Vikings. Number 20, Denver Broncos. Number 21, high upside Washington Redskins. They finished number 7 last year, so they could be a potential sleeper that nobody wants to pick just because the organization sucks and the team sucks. And I know it's not the Washington Redskins, but that's what we're referring to them as. So love it or hate it, they're a sleeper team. Number 22, Carolina Panthers. Number 23, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. At tier number 4, I'm pretty much avoiding most of these teams except the top 3. Number 24, Detroit Lions. Number 25, LA Chargers. Number 26, LA Rams. Number 27, Chicago Bears. Number 28, the New York Giants. Followed by the Texans, Cardinals, Falcons, Raiders. Don't touch any of them. But, hey, any of those other teams that I mentioned there at the top 4 of that tier, the Lions, Chargers, Rams, Bears, Giants, might not get drafted, but they might be a good streamer for the year depending on who they play. But as for fantasy defenses, that's what we got. We got the Niners, Cowboys, Bills. Tier 2, we got the Eagles, Patriots, Jets, Saints, Chiefs, Steelers, Ravens. After that, we got the Dolphins, Packers, Jaguars, Seahawks, Bengals, Browns, Titans, Colts, Vikings, Broncos. So that's what we got. That's our defense. That's our tight ends. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys took notes. I hope you learned something. I hope it helps your draft. If you want the rest of the picks, if you want the rest of the rankings, check us out on Facebook, on Instagram, at The Stoop Life. And thank you for listening. We'll be back with another one to finish it out with our sleepers of the year, our bust of the year, our players to draft above value or below value, and we'll give it to you. So thanks for listening. Click that like, click that share. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch y'all later. Have a good one.